Toyota and Nissan ramping back up to full production after the earthquake and tsunami hit them very hard in Japan. Now the two automakers are planning big incentives in the U.S. Incentives is good for consumers, right? For a number of core models to get their showroom sales engines revving once again.
So will this create a price war that will have consumers going for deals for new car purchases instead of used? The car coach and author of Lauren Fix's Guide to Loving Your Car, Lauren Fix, thinks so, and she joins us now. And we're happy to say she lives in New York, so we'll be able to see more of her. All right, so it's going to be good. If I was thinking of buying a car right now, I should wait until this price war begins?
Well, the price war begins is going to be great, and that's one of the things I said when we had this natural disaster, and it sort of evolved, and production lines were shut down. People weren't getting products here in the U.S., and I knew what would happen is there's going to be a supply and demand, basic economics, right? So if there's not a lot of supply, the dealers that I spoke with, many of them were keeping the prices at sticker. They refused to bend. But now, because they had no stock, who wants an empty lot? That doesn't look good for business. So what they do now is they're saying incentives are here. So it's good for consumers to wait for those incentives because they're going to get better and better. And they're sort of sporadic right now.
Great for consumers, potentially bad for the car companies. Didn't they get in trouble by giving friends and family discounts? No money down or whatever, all of those deals. Right. Now companies like Ford have been able to even raise prices without offering incentives, and that's helped their company.
Right, and they also had product available, and their product is also improved thanks to Alan Mulally and his big picture plan. And I think part of it is...
Do incentives get companies in trouble?
I think incentives can get companies in trouble because once you start lowering the price, people that bought Toyotas in the past or Nissans or Hondas, and Nissan and Honda are still pushing too, as well as Toyota, are saying, well, you know, maybe I'm going to wait. Why should I pay retail? So they may have lost that sale permanently. And then there's a loyalty situation, too. If you were always a loyal Toyota buyer, you may have decided you wanted to wait for that incentive, and they may have potentially lost that sale to another manufacturer and may never be able to reclaim it.
By the way, what's happening to Toyota? Because, of course, a lot of it lost its #1 status. They claim it's because of the earthquake and the tsunami and everything that happened. And obviously that had a huge effect on it. However, they've been in trouble for a long time, right? I mean, their truck division, for example.
Right. A lot of things with Toyota, including Scion division. The Scion was a big up-and-coming youth line, and they were doing really well with it. And the sales have dropped off. As a matter of fact, they need to come up with some product that's going to make them even more competitive.
So even without the earthquake and the tsunami, they would have been in trouble.
Well, they had issues, obviously, as we've talked about in the past, with the recalls and unintended acceleration and safety issues. And they did get a little bit safety deaf. I think they got a little bit comfortable in their position. But now they're really trying to come back strong with really good product.
They're a little bit like the airlines. When one raises prices or drops prices, others sometimes follow, not always. Do you expect that if Toyota and Nissan start to give very attractive incentives, that the U.S. auto companies might get sucked into that sort of addictive feeling of an incentive?
I think it's the market force. If everyone's offering a discount, you know what happens if you walk on the lot. We can cut you a deal. There's 0% financing. Oh, it's $199 a month. And then as soon as Ford hears this, GM and Chrysler and Hyundai and Kia, which have also done very well during all this situation, they're going to have to offer some incentive to match that price, or they're going to lose a customer.
Very quickly, the Nissan Leaf. Terrible sales in the United States. Was it like they sold 87 cars in January in all of U.S., and then the next month it went down even further. They sold 60-some cars.
You open up Pandora's box for me because I say that the government is demanding that we buy electric cars, and that's great if you live on the edges of the country, but the bulk of the country doesn't want these cars. We want what we drive. The Explorer's making great sales, and whether you like it or not, that's what people want to drive.
She is so passionate about cars, she named her daughter Shelby after the Shelby Mustang. Lauren Fix is the car coach. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And by the way, a programming note, join the judge.